Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expand-A-Brand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frisco, Texas, site of the 2017 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. I'm Todd Panula, and I'm here to bring you all of today's exciting action. It should be a good one here between Ohio Premier and Baltimore Celtic. We'll give you the starters for you here in just a second as we are underway. On the front foot goes Ohio Premier, who will be dressed in their all-whites, countered by the black and green of Celtic. Quickly out. Your starters for Ohio Premier. In goal, it's Bryant Pratt. Out in the field, it's Luke Kiley, Chris Dowling, Wesley Collins, Matthew Streeter, Colin McCourt, Carter Patchett, Matt Walters, Ben Sobotka, Noah Paoletti, and Samuel Mason. On the flip side, in goal for Baltimore Celtics, it's Quantrill Jones. In the field, it's Nicholas Blossu, Jason Cyrus, Alejandro Arbalez, Jacob Matzi, Ian Reger, Paul Frendek, Dylan Potzel, John Nicholas Mueller, Randolph Putnam, and Jake Steinberg. On the early going here, Baltimore able to thwart that as Cyrus was able to get a piece of it. Not hard to spot him as he's got the bright hair there. Very interesting shade of green. Aubin went over the top as his teammate, who also has some rather interesting hairstyle. And that one is Alejandro Arbeles. It's ultimately in the hands of the goalkeeper. Beautiful day for soccer. A few high, wispy clouds up in the air. We're still under a heat advisory today as the temperature is expected to soar up into the triple digits as we've got a collision here on the near sideline, and the optics didn't look very good on that one. But ultimately, I don't think much is going to come of it, much to the frustration of Guanacuemi. A little bit of a trip up there as Arbeles didn't have any advantage in front of him, so the referee brought it back. Celtic content to just kind of set things up here. Celtic with pretty much everything in their back pocket. They have advancing scenarios regardless of the result. If they win or they draw, they are advancing, as they are already 2-0. If they lose, then it comes down to how much they lost by, what the goal difference is in terms of other results as well. But having 6 points in your back pocket makes it quite unlikely for them not to get through. Not implausible, not impossible, but unlikely. On the flip side, Ohio Premier must win today just to even get to a tie-breaking scenario, which is disappointing for them because they're 1-1-0. That loss coming yesterday, it was a 1-0 decision to UFA. So one goal allowed could end up costing them a chance at getting into the knockout stages. But they're trying to put themselves on the front foot here, getting into the box. Left-footed shot into the side netting. Didn't even trouble Jones all that much. It came pretty quick, but he looked like he had it covered. Nevertheless, a good attacking chance there. Jones able to send that one away as Kiley was putting on some pressure. Here comes Reger. Quemi spinning away from pressure. Quemi looking back for Reger, but touched it a bit too firmly. Arbeles. And now Cyrus on through. St. Martin puts it over the far side. Just out of the reach of Mueller. Trying to find Kiley. Once again, touched out. A lot to play for here in this 18 and under boys action. We thank you for tuning in here on the Turbo Sports Network. Ohio Premier in defense right now. Baltimore in control. A shot. Good firm strike from Kuemi. But he was unable to keep it near the ground. Flicked on by Sobotka. Cyrus has it for Baltimore. Celtic trying to retain possession here as they're hemmed in along the sideline. St. Martin back to his goalkeeper. Jones fumbled it a little bit. A lot of green hair out there. And Kuemi couldn't quite keep it in along the touchline. Sobotka was calling for it. Instead, they go a little bit longer, trying to get it to Kiley. Sobotka now gets a head onto it. Kiley brings it down. Tripped over the ball. Kuemi laid it off, looking for Arbalez. Blasted over towards the far side by Frendek. Trying to chase it down. Kiley getting a bit of a hand on the defender there. Watches it roll out. And Cyrus a bit upset with himself. Ohio Premier. And they're actually going to call that as a foul. Sobotka a little bit upset. Didn't think that there was enough in that one to blow the whistle. 2017 National League champions. Trying to find something special here today to at least give themselves a shot at advancing. Decent ball through, looking for St. Martin. Also in the vicinity was Rieger. Too tall for Mason. Here's Kuemi. Second attempt, and the grass kind of pulling up a little bit easily on that. You can see a big clump there in the field. But in attack now, Patchett. Over towards Kiley. Lays it back, Sobotka. And defender saw it all the way. Blasu. Frendek. Jones over to the far side. Jones, an absolutely enormous goalkeeper, both in height and width. Any collisions with him, you're probably not going to come out on the better end of that one. Here's Kuemi. Lobbed that back at the box, was trying to return the favor for Jake Matzi, but went a little too direct. Hadn't they put a little bit more curl on that one? Either that or just a tiny bit more loft. Neither one happened, though. Celtic in control, but not able to get too much forward. It's been a good defending half here so far for Ohio Premier. Up comes Kylie, putting on a lot of speed here. Ball on the field. Might have thrown off Kylie just a little bit, but those are the kind of situations you have to deal with when you're in a tournament scenario. Trying to get it over the top. Good sliding challenge there to knock that one away. Paoletti. Now we've got a player going to have to come off and seek some attention there, as that was Frendak. Paul Frendak was bleeding from the lip, it looked like, trying to keep it away from his jersey. Long throw. They're trying to get that blood cleaned up. Rinsing it off his hands as well. Collision here along the midfield and a good tussle for it. Cyrus doesn't quite come up with it. And now he plays it quickly into Kouemi. Kouemi sandwiched there, and he'll gain the free kick. That doesn't please Colin McCourt too much. So we've kind of settled into a bit of a lull here. So we're now in the 16th minute, 15 minutes played. There had been some decent back and forth, but now we've been having a lot of stoppages, a lot of consternation among the players and coaches. And things just not necessarily settling into a solid flow here, very choppy. Going towards that back post. Parrying it away was Pratt. Everybody will stay just about where they are, as it's going to be a goal kick. Trainers finally coming over, trying to deal with Frendak's bleeding situation. Difficult to tell if it was coming from the nose or the lip. They're trying to wash it off as best they can and keep it away from the jersey. Don't want to have to make a switch if possible. Pinballing back and forth up through the air. Finally, the flag was up. Offside was the call. So that'll bail out Ohio Premier a little bit as the pressure was starting to mount just a tiny bit from Celtic. High up into the air. Very difficult to win that battle with Cyrus as he is as stout as they come. Difficult to gain position on him, and now Sobotka is down on the ground, and we're going to have to get more attention out here on the field. The heat of the day is starting to pick up. Not sure if he took a foot to the back of the leg or what might have happened. Didn't seem like the challenge was too much, but sometimes all it takes is a foot planted the wrong way and just your weight shifted, and all of a sudden your muscle gets spasmed up. So taking a look at where these teams are at coming in. Ohio Premier, as I mentioned before, must get a win today just to force some tiebreak scenarios. They came in with 2 goals scored and a +1 goal difference as they had a 2-0 win over Washington Premier on Tuesday, and then a 1-0 loss to UFA yesterday. They were hoping to get at least a draw out of that one. It was a somewhat late goal that ended up costing them. But that's the way these things play out in tournament scenarios. On the flip side, Baltimore Celtic have their destiny well within their hands. They already have 6 points in their back pocket. 2-0-0 is their record. They have scored 8 goals, not allowed one yet. So they have a +8 goal difference. 2 4-0 wins. 4-0 over UFA on Tuesday, 4-0 over Washington Premier Wednesday. And Solomon, one of their leading goal scorers, isn't even a starter, at least not today. So Sobotka had to be helped off the field as they just couldn't get that leg worked out. The medical trainer had left the vicinity, so they're having to call him back over. So hopefully Sobotka will be able to return in the second half, because he was doing a good job of setting up shop on the offensive end. Coming into the game for Ohio Premier is Mitchell Hughes. And the sportsmanlike thing done is play had been pretty much started, or ended, I should say, from the field of play. So Ohio Premier just giving it back to Baltimore Celtic. Lasso gives it over, gets it back in the middle of the field. Arbalez settled down by Cyrus as he makes his way around Hughes. Kuemi was calling for it here on the near side. Instead, Cyrus went towards the middle of the pitch. St. Martin trying to pick up for the mistake. Cyrus ends up doing it himself. Kuemi with the nice settle. And his jersey is absolutely being ripped from the back. Quick restart. Foul was given towards the box, but ultimately dealt with. Patchett hammers it up towards the forward line. Kiley was there, but couldn't quite get the handle on it. Subs coming in for each team now. Coming in first for Baltimore Celtic is Aiden Welsh. Also in for Ohio Premier is Ashton Pulley. Out is Paoletti. So the substitute coming in for Baltimore was eventually made for Paul Frendek, as they couldn't get the flow of blood stemmed, and they just figured to give him a rest. Perhaps put him back in the second half. It does seem like he's tending to his nose, so wouldn't think that it would be anything that would keep him out long term. Nosebleeds sometimes, some of the most frustrating injuries, because it's just a matter of when that blood's going to coagulate and stop flowing. Here's Arbalez. All the way back, out of the keeper. Jones. Back for St. Martin. That clearing attempt was knocked away. And then one of the Ohio Premiers almost came into your living room as they were colliding right with one of our camera stands. Hughes doing his best job to muscle off Welsh. Not coming away with possession, though. Here's Kwemi once again digging up that turf. Those strong legs of his working almost like 9 irons, picking up that field, and it's just about been in the same spot every time. To the far sideline, Baltimore Celtic with an opportunity here, but once again, too many white shirts in front. Counterattack attempt for Ohio Premier as they send it up the right-hand side. And just a bit over the line. Frustration on the face of Matthew Streeter. .23.5 minutes played, and now with the stoppage, they're going to allow the players a chance to get some water in them. A hydration break officially on the docket. Once again, a win or a draw puts Baltimore Celtic through for sure. In both scenarios, they would most likely finish atop their group. It's been a fairly good contest overall. We had a bit of a lull there around the 14-15 minute mark, but things have picked up nicely since then. The other game going on right now, and we don't have a score on that yet, is UFA Premier against WPFC. That one figuring into this game. The standings coming in were Baltimore Celtic 2-0-0 with 6 points, 3 points apiece for Ohio Premier and UFA Premier. So WPFC is all but eliminated. They're not mathematically out of it, but 0-2-0. They would have to have a lot happen. Even if they won, they had a -6 goal difference, so they would have to somehow beat UFA Premier by an astounding margin to get themselves even a shot at making it. In that scenario, you'd have to have Baltimore Celtic winning by a decent margin themselves to fully knock out Ohio Premier. So an update on that other scoreline, 0-0 in the 26th minute. So if that stayed the same, then it would come down to a tiebreaker between those two teams. And Baltimore Celtic would almost surely go through. Jones punching at it, not coming away with it. A blind kick at it, and Kiley sending it back towards goal, dealt with by the defender. Might have been a call for a handball from the fans on the far side, but no offense to any of them, but I don't know that I've ever had a scenario like that where there wasn't a call for a handball, and sometimes it's not even close. But people think that it hits a body in front, and it's always got to be a handball. No calls for such a penalty here on the sideline. This one's ladled over the top for Mueller. That one went harmlessly off the defender and into the waiting hands of Bryant Pratt. Sliced up the sideline. Dowling tried to get it back to McCourt. Into touch over on the far side as it's onto one of the fans' tents. Substitute about to check in for Ohio Premier. It appears as though Chris Dowling will be the one to come out. And coming into the game is Jason Fleischman. Substitutes for Baltimore Celtic will have to wait. And here's Fleischman. Numbers all over him, sees it go out. A little bit frustrated there as he thought he was bumped into, or at least touched last by the defenders. So I received word from one of the representatives of the league that Baltimore Celtic is in, and they're officially through. So win, lose, or draw, they're going to the second round. It would more be a matter of if somebody could potentially pass them up on any kind of tie-break scenario and take that top spot. So Baltimore Celtic playing mostly for pride and obviously positioning in the knockout rounds. High up into the air. Settled down by Mason. All the way back for Pratt. Ohio Premier kind of settling in here along the back line. They've had a bit more of the possession here in the last couple minutes. We are in the 31st minute, so just about 15 minutes left in regulation in terms of the opening 45. Hammered back the other way. We're kind of back in one of those lulls here. Neither team doing too much with their possession. Stuck a little bit in the midfield as here's Pooley. And that one blasted back the other way. Walters. Around one defender. Walters serves it into the box. It's easily held by Basu. Into touch, stays with Ohio Premier. Coemi, as it's a battle of 45s. Coemi won it. Mason went down. The official not even moving towards calling a foul. Sliding it in, trying to get it onto Patchett. Unsure of where that ball went after it was kicked. Now it's down for Kiley. The shot blocked. Coemi putting his body on the line. Pushed over the top, trying to get it on. Here comes Solomon. Solomon, one of the leading scorers for Baltimore Celtic in this tournament, in front, and it wouldn't settle down for Welsh. Coemi with an opportunity to push it into the box, instead lays it back for Cyrus. He's going to slice one in towards goal, and that one never came down. Spinning ball through the air with a lot of backspin on it, so it was catching a lot of the draft. Wind continually shifting here. It's been almost solidly left to right throughout the tournament. It's more whether it's been blowing away or towards camera. Right now it seems to be kind of a swirl. Still going left to right for the main part, but kind of both coming at the camera and from behind. So mostly aiding Baltimore Celtic right now, as you could tell from that punt from Pratt, where you get any kind of backspin on those high kicks, and it's really going to catch all of the wind. Subs coming in now for Ohio Premier, as it's Jake Roberts and Ryan Burke. Coming in now for Baltimore Celtic will be Jacob Steinberg. Looking over the top for Fleischman. Fleischman has one of the two goals scored by Ohio Premier. Coming in, Pratt, almost caught in no man's land, was able to get it over. Fourth official almost caught on the field as well, as he was coming over to get a stray ball. Jones right now has really settled into this contest, and he has not had a ton of work throughout this tournament. He's made the saves that he's needed to. A top-notch one here or there, but for the most part, his defensive core has helped him out. And the offensive end has definitely kept him less busy as well. 8 goals scored at the other end, and he has not seen one go in behind. This one's going to roll out, and that'll give Ohio Premier a chance to put it back into play. Pooley throws it high up into the air. Difficult to be dealt with by Cyrus. Kiley tried to take it down. Here's Hughes. He gets a bit of a tug. Solomon coming here to the near side. Steinberg caught that one too much off the heel. And then pulling up a little bit lame in front was Arbalez. My mistake, that was actually Welsh. Seemed to get a bit of a cramp. The frosted tops looking a little bit similar. Near side for Cyrus and back. St. Martin surveys the field and sees what are his options. Through the midfield. Arbeles. Near side for Cyrus. Good settle, keeping it close. Steinberg. Thought about serving it into the box. Keeping it in closer from the top of the 18. Decent shot. Good idea from Solomon, but ultimately right at the goalkeeper. Eight minutes left in regulation here in the first half. We're going to have a substitute coming in for Baltimore Celtic. Checking into the game is Mackenzie Ali. Chopped away by Arbeles. And there was Welsh, but only short-lived. Near side for Ali. Welsh was making the run. Ali touched it a little too firmly. Patchett. And now Arbeles. Taken back, possession. Traded back and forth several times here. Stolen by Steinberg. Lining it up. Far wing now for Putnam. He'll chase it down in towards the corner. Putnam lays it back. Service into the box. Backheeled by the defender. Near wing. Arbeles leaning back a little too much. That's worth 3 points in another sport called football, but not this one. Ladled up in the air, flicked on. Brought down by Hughes, stepped into by Ali. Now it's with Pulley. Hughes trying to get it up to the sliding Kiley, but it was just too far out of his reach. Jones just pulling it back and settling things down. Kiley not wanting to use too much energy here, pressuring these plays by the goalkeeper. Just about 5 minutes left in the first half, give or take. Obviously, the referee's discretion. And a goal for UFA in the 40th minute, as they are pretty much on par with where we're at right now. So they have a 1-0 lead. So if that scoreline holds, they will advance along with Baltimore Celtic, with Baltimore Celtic likely finishing ahead. It would take a pretty massive victory to make up a +8 goal difference right now. So there is a small scenario to where Celtic could finish in second, but that's a rather unlikely scenario. But right now, that scoreline giving us a top team of Baltimore, and UFA would be the second. 42nd minute of play as this one's headed out once again. We'll do it all over a little bit closer to goal. Now the rush on for Rieger. Cut out nicely along the backside. Pooley sent it up. McCourt continued it on. Now the far side for an attacking push. Patchett. A little bit in behind Roberts. Slid over here to the near side for Pooley. Hughes was trying to get it up to Fleischman, but it wasn't quite on. Instead, Solomon to the middle of the field. Putnam cuts it back. Putnam was taken out. Advantage played. And that one dried up rather quickly. Putnam a little bit frustrated, not wanting to accept the help up. Thought that should have still been called back after it dried up rather quickly. And those are the kind of instances where it's, as an official, it's always so difficult because you play the advantage, and then how long do you count? Some people mentally count to 3. Some people say once I say that advantage has been played, it's the foul has dried up. In that instance, it was kind of a bang-bang play. The foul came, the referee put her arms out, advantage, and then the pass through was not on target. Baltimore Celtic in control of it here in their defensive third, approaching the midfield, but they pull it back. Slid up towards the forward line, intending that one for Solomon, but not quite there. Continued on now by Roberts as he tried to go towards the middle of the field. Patchett was there, but the pass was not on. Fleischman putting on some pressure. Instead, it's going to come over here towards the near side. Ali trying to get it back. Steinberg was kind of smushed in along the line there. Didn't have too much in the way of options. Same could be said of Patchett. Jones forced to play this one up. Good bending ball, keeps it in, and that'll be a throw-in coming up for Celtic. 20 seconds to go in regulation. We'll see how much time is added on, and now we're going to have a reported 3 minutes of additional time in this half. Now in for Putnam. He was bumped off just enough. Would not have mattered as the flag was up. Ohio Premier trying to catch numbers forward for Baltimore Celtic, but that's a rather poor ball. Not necessarily what they would have liked in that scenario. Obviously, you want to try to get it upfield, but lobbing it up with, if that was a baseball, it would be described as a can of corn, is not necessarily what you want. Slicing up the right-hand side. Inside for Fleischman. But out comes Jones, and he holds on. Brave goalkeeping there, and he needed to be strong on that one. Celtic a little more deliberate in their attack now as they push into the middle third. Pulling back St. Martin. Now for Ali. Goes up through the middle. Welsh tried to get it through to Steinberg, but a little too direct. Steinberg thought it was coming more towards the sideline, and Welsh thought it was going more towards the corner flag. Just about halfway through this 3 minutes of stoppage time here at the first half. 0-0 your score. Last check, it was 1-0 in favor of UFA over on the other field. Lobbed over the top. Wouldn't settle down initially for Kiley. Second attempt, and just too many Celtic hits around. Now a chance here for Johnson. To McCourt. Johnson again. Off the defender. Out for the throw. Unofficially under a minute to go in stoppage time. That's too tall for Fleischman. Here comes Steinberg. Looking for options forward. Not too many. He lobs it up for Solomon. That's dealt with, but that'll lead to an attacking throw. Ali will take it. And there is the halftime whistle. No score at the break. I will take a break. When we come back, we'll have the second half of action in this U18 men's action. Back with more after this on Turbo Sports.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given. Everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top. Heroes will be made. And on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935. Offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history. It has a meaning. I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the Maguire Cup.
Winning the Maguire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period. That's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied Maguire Cup?
Welcome back, folks. Todd Panula along with you here, coming to you live from Frisco, Texas, just outside of Toyota Stadium, as we are in the soccer complex, a beautiful complex here, home of FC Dallas and site of the 2017 USYS Soccer National Championships. Group stage action between Ohio Premier and Baltimore Celtic. Baltimore Celtic already punched their ticket to the knockout rounds. Just trying to figure out what spot they're going to finish in. Most likely coming in to today with 6 points, they would finish atop the group as they have a +8 goal difference. So something really spectacular would have to happen in one of those other games, plus this one. Basically, Ohio Premier would have to score probably 2 or 3 goals, and then the other games would have to be a blowout for Baltimore not to finish on top. But still a plausible scenario as of right now. At the half, it is 2-1 in favor of WPFC, as UFC, or UFA, I should say, had a 1-0 lead in the 40th minute. And then bang, bang, a couple quick goals go in just before the end of the half to put Washington Premier in the driver's seat to finish in second place in this group. So, given everything that's going on, you have to figure, while there are still mathematical possibilities that keep Ohio Premier alive, they are pretty much eliminated. As the most points they can come away with would be 6. But with teams already ahead of them, it would be very difficult. Sliced up, Ali deals with it initially, but he kept the player outside, potentially. A decent ball through by Kiley. Nothing came of it in the end. Jones taking his time here to put this one back into play. And Baltimore in no great hurry. They'd be perfectly content to finish this one as a 0-0 draw and finish with 7 points for the group stages. That would still put them in charge of this group and facing the second team in the other group. So again, this game kind of not necessarily unimportant. That's not the right word to say for Baltimore Celtic, but they've kind of tinkered with their lineup a little bit more than you might normally see. Just kind of trying to get a few players some extra playing time that might not necessarily see it overall, and also just kind of keep legs a little fresher going into the next round. And actually, looking at the standings, I misspoke a little bit earlier. If Ohio Premier wins here, they would actually put themselves in a position they would actually probably go through. So I had not necessarily written down the entirety of the scenarios, because coming into today, Ohio Premier had 3 points, and they were +1 in the goal difference. And UFA was tied with them, but they were -3 in the goal difference. So it'll be interesting to see what some of these tie-breaking scenarios are. Obviously, if UFA loses, as they're currently listed as the second-place team in that group. An Ohio Premier win or even a draw in that scenario could see them go through as the second team. So a lot to play for here. But quickly in the second half, things have been knotted up as UFA has found that equalizer. So again, scoreboard watching going on here for fans of these two teams. If you're watching at home, make sure to check out that game on YouTube. Brought to you by Turbo Sports Group. That's the beauty of technology these days. You can tune this game into your TV, open your laptop or tablet, put that one on just to kind of keep a side eye on those scores. Of course, we'll do our best to keep you updated as well as we can, as this game still kind of muddled up in the midfield. Each team has gone back and forth a little bit. Here's a giveaway. Chance for Patchett. He gets it back from Dowling. And the save made by Jones. Rebound, they score! Trevor Johnson keeps his team's hopes alive. A win would put them through if scores stay the same. Plenty of time for changes to happen, as it's only 8 minutes into the second half. Well, we're in the 8th minute, I should say. So a goal in the 53rd minute. As the heat's starting to settle in here. The breeze has slackened. As I say that, there's a tiny bit of a wind picking up, but not much to alter the ball's course as though it had been before. Now Celtic showing a little more interest, as that one was pilfered away from Welsh. And now off to the races goes Kiley. Bringing it up the right-hand side, just in the shadow of the 18-yard box. Takes it in himself, shoots! Jones to save. Kiley again. This one's going to slice out of play. "91 degrees right now. The temperature feeling quite a bit higher than that when there's no breeze. It's somewhat comfortable right now as the wind starts to pick back up, but when you're out there running around, it's going to sap it out of you. And now we get a foul as Kuemi kind of looking a little bit exasperated there. He felt that he had kind of won the challenge, and understandably so, but you have to understand the point of view of the official as well. She saw the foul, gave it, and just didn't see any advantage. But as an official, sometimes you don't necessarily realize the strength of players on each team. You're calling things as you see them. But Kuemi, very stout player, very strong, a lot of core strength, was able to shrug off that challenge. This here's Kylie, put it on the left foot. A well-timed sliding tackle. Was able to send it away as St. Martin clears the danger. Kuemi hits the ground again. And one of the captains for Ohio Premier, Colin McCourt, having a word with the official. Trying to lob that one over the top. Solomon was able to get just enough of it to direct it towards goal, but with Pratt coming out, it wasn't enough to get it up and over. Arbeles was able to send that one away just enough. Looking for Welsh. Dowling with the block. Arbeles and Cyrus able to steal it away. Bodies diving everywhere for Ohio Premier as they try to keep themselves alive here. They've given themselves hope. If scorelines remain the same, it would be Baltimore and Ohio going through. Corner kick won by Welsh as he did some good footwork up there near the end line and then blasted it off of his pursuer. 11.5 minutes in here in the second half. No score, or excuse me, 1-0 in favor of Ohio Premier. Got used to saying that after 45 minutes. 53rd minute goal by Trevor Johnson is the difference right now. Back for Jones. Now Cyrus. Ali calling for it. Instead it goes through the middle. Good idea. And then Ali had his feet taken out from underneath him. The official says play on. Advantage. Solomon, his shot blocked by Streeter. Here comes Arbeles. Looking to the far side. Kept in, left foot in front. Wouldn't stay down for Welsh. Sliding in for the challenge was Arbeles, but he won't be able to keep it down. And now it's going to have to come back and deal with Ali as he seems to be shaken up. That was that initial challenge, which resulted in the advantage call. There is going to be a yellow card handed out. So the tackle made by Colin McCourt, the yellow card handed out as well. So this is not the official hydration break, although both teams taking advantage of it. So a yellow card handed out in the 59th minute. Both teams will get a little bit of an extra rest in there during that stoppage. But top-notch officiating right there to realize that that was a yellow card offense, but allow the attack to continue. I've been in those kind of scenarios. The only danger you risk is when you're not in a situation where you have that fourth official that can kind of keep an eye on things. Sometimes in the heat of battle, it can be easy to forget who committed that foul. Kylie a little bit shaken up, but up and dusting himself off. All the way back for Jones now. Again, 1-0 here, 2-2 over in that other final group stage match between UFA and Washington Premier. If Ohio wins, a draw does neither one of those teams any good. If Baltimore wins, a draw would make it incredibly interesting because both of those teams would finish with 4 points. Ali served up by Putzel. Ali almost got the block in on it, and then overstepping was Walters. Big chunk of turf coming up here on the near sideline. The fields have held up pretty well here, and you have to give it up to the grounds crew. They've done a pretty good job considering the amount of games that are played on this field. The ball goes in! It's a goal! It didn't look like anything was going to come of it, but Kwemi thrust himself at the ball, and it looks like he will get credit for the tally. So 1-1 now, your score. Kwemi with the goal to put Baltimore Celtic back into the contest. Kylie sees the man go down right in front of him. That was Matzi. So this really opens up a lot of scenarios. Ohio can go through with a draw, but they need certain things to happen in that other one, namely Washington Premier would need to win. That draw does them no good. They would finish 1-1-1. Pratt blasts it back up into the air. Sliding through the central area. Mason looking for options. Gets it back. Tried to return the favor there to Patchett. But again, it just wasn't quite on. Celtic content to just kind of mess with it along the back line. Again, a draw would perfectly suit them. Solomon. Brought down by Mason. And now McCourt sitting on a yellow card. He's got to be careful because if his team continues on, you don't want to be sitting on a soft red and potentially miss the first knockout stage game. Good service in towards the penalty spot, but Jones just calmly lets it roll on by. Sub checking in now for Ohio Premier as it's Ryan Burke. 1-1 your score. the 65th minute. Ali takes the stinger on the ground. Here's Solomon. Takes a bit of a shove from behind, and then he's chopped down in the midfield. And a yellow card given out to Matthew Streeter. And those are the kind of plays that, being a former goalkeeper, I always found a little bit hard to wrap my head around, I suppose. Because even as an official, that same tackle, if you try to make it with your left leg, you swing around that way, you're more likely to get the ball and less likely to strike the player beforehand. You chop in with the right foot in that same scenario, and really, even if you get the ball, you're still likely to pick up a foul, if not that same yellow card. Almost a miscue there, as Frendak, who has come back into the game after suffering that bloody nose in the first, played it right into the back of Luke Kiley. The wind has died down again, so the humidity picking back up. Now for Cyrus, looking for something himself. Arbeles, now for Ali. Left foot back across. Ali again. And this one's easy for the goalkeeper. Here's Mason. Pressure coming from behind. Got it up to McCourt, but first touch betrayed him just a little bit. Dowling. On back. Patchett. Johnson, the goal scorer, looking to try to sneak in along the backside. They look for him. He got a foot to it. It's back across the front. And denied by the defender. Jones was there as well. Looks like it's Dylan Putzel. Bodies being put on the line here for Baltimore Celtic, and that's good to see. Because sometimes you wonder, when you already have your decision figured out that you're going to be going into the next round, sometimes it's like, well, we don't want to put as much effort into this contest. And whether it was the case or not, you could make that argument in the first half. Not as much here in the second for Baltimore Celtic, as they have really kind of thrust themselves into this one and trying to go for it and get all 9 points out of this group stage. Johnson will get a seat. Coming back into the games is Mitchell Hughes. And with 23 minutes played here in the half, we will get our hydration break. So once again, possibilities abound in this contest. If scorelines hold as they are, Ohio Premier is out. Ohio Premier must win unless Washington Premier wins, and then they can get a draw. But with that other game currently tied at 2 at last check, that would eliminate Ohio Premier, which is not something that they want to have happen. They've really poured a lot into this game. They haven't necessarily been as technically sound as they would have liked. But when desperation is the word of the day, then that is what you have to do. You just have to get things done. Who cares how it happens if you get the result? So just about a minute on for that water break, so that'll probably be ended on to the tail end of this half. Ball sitting at half field, but the restart should be a throw-in. And it will indeed be a free kick. Shows how much I remember. 60 seconds, I have the mind of a goldfish, apparently. Lobbed up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Sent away by the defense initially and then cleared away on the second attempt. Flicked on by Kiley, but nobody was there in aid. Trying to press up now are Dowling and Patchett. Lobbing one over the top. Unsuccessful there, as back to get it was Paoletti. Calling for it on the near side is Metzi. They look for him on the back post. Serve back in front. Kind of a scorpion kick attempt there from Solomon. Couldn't quite get a piece of it. Ali comes out here. Metzi just inside the 18, now a little outside, and that one will go up and over. So with the day starting to heat up, the energy levels coming down just a little bit for these players. And they'll put a substitute in. Coming out is Noah Paoletti. Coming back in is Ashton Pulley. Hammered through the air by Pratt. Over to the far side. Gotten to first instead by Cyrus, who just lets it roll on by. Now here's Pulley up from the left back. Kiley wanted to get it back through to Pulley. Arms go up. Flag does not. Even if the player was offside, he was not involved in the play. Here's McCourt from the inside. He was hoping it was going to be a corner kick, but no touch was ever made. Checking back in at the next opportune time will be Ian Reger. Crunching challenge there. Coming away with it, though, was Frendek. At least getting the better of the challenge, even though he didn't get possession. Too strong there for Welsh. Back up into the air. Now here's Patchett. curling around towards the outside. Hands it off. Hughes lays one across. Dowling was there. But so was the defender who touched it last, and it'll be a corner kick. Once again, Reger coming back in. Looks like he's going to replace Aiden Welsh. So we'll take the corner kick before the next substitute. Right footer from Mason. Nobody really up challenging there for Ohio Premier. This one goes over to the far hand side. We get a whistle well behind where the ball was. And what's going to happen here? They're sending the ball over as though they're going to retake the corner. Okay, that's not going to happen. I was going to say, I've never heard of such a scenario to where that would have been the case, but there had to have been something away from the ball. But the foul goes against Baltimore Celtic. Is coming back in was Nicholas Blasu, replacing Mackenzie Ali. So they vacate the area, and it looks like Mason's going to take the kick. Goes towards that back post. Not sure of the wisdom of that one, as Jones was eyeing that up the entire time. And it would have been difficult to try to curl a shot around the wall, but still it might have been a better idea, as Jones was always going to come up with that one, given where it was placed. Miscommunication there. That allows Matzi to get through it. Flag goes up. Solomon was on the wrong side of that attack. Coming back in now for Baltimore Celtic, it's going to be Jacob Steinberg. And also Randolph Putnam, replacing Kwemi. And Solomon. Solid kick there. Jones spills it. It's in behind. But Ohio Premier couldn't capitalize. Patchett trying to keep it alive. Wildly swung at by Burke. And nothing doing there, and he's a little bit frustrated. Going over to the official. Thought that there was a high boot as he swung around. The official not having any of it. So the score is now 3-2 in favor of UFA. So if that stays the same, then it would be Baltimore and UFA going through. So the wheel keeps on spinning in terms of possibilities for this group. This one spins out over here on the near sideline. Picked up by Rigger, and now Putzel. Arbeles had his pocket picked off the other way. That's going to be way too close to Jones, who mishandled it just a little bit. They try to catch him out, but A little too eager, a little too anxious there for Mitchell Hughes. Just about 11 minutes left in regulation. You have to figure there's going to be some time added on to this one. Two consecutive throw-ins coming up here for Ohio Premier as this one goes over the top. They were trying to look for McCourt. Now it'll come over here to the near side. Flicked down by Matzi. Trying to go for Rieger, but too direct. Lobbed over here to the near side. Kept in nicely by Putnam. He's slicing in towards goal. Takes a strong shoulder there. Now the challenge favors Putnam. Puts it back in front. They score! Jacob Matzi puts it in. And that might put away Ohio Premier. Jacob Matzi is going to come out now after putting Celtic up 2-1. So the offensive woes for Baltimore Celtic were short-lived, only kept off of the board for 45 minutes and change. In the 62nd minute, it was Kuemi and then Matzi in the 78th to give them the current 2-1 scoreline. Remember, Ohio Premier basically clinging to life now. If they get it knotted up, they still need Washington to Premier to come from behind, which as of right now is not looking good as they trail by a goal. That's been a high-scoring affair as it's 3-2 over there. But as things stand now, it would be Baltimore Celtic finishing on top of the group and UFA in second. Pulley able to get it past. Patchett pushes it over to the far side for Fleischman. Fleischman lays it back. Pulley. Fleischman again. Take it away from the slide tackle. Mason with Mueller right on his back. They try to switch the point of attack, going for Dowling. Dowling's able to keep it in, but collides with that Nike pop-up. Six minutes left in regulation. This one's going to roll over. Cal Premier grasping at straws right now, trying to find something going. It's been tough sledding here in the second half for them. They thought they had momentum on their side, but Baltimore Celtic kind of eased into things a little bit in the second half and really kind of took control from there. There's a crunching tackle that takes it away from Pulley, and then he came up a little bit lame as he lunged for it on the second time. Couldn't be kept in over on the far sideline. Good attempt. Hughes was trying to track it down, but just not quite on. '86th minute of play here as they slide one through. Fleischman on the ball. Over to the far hand side is Celtic able to send it up towards the attack. Mueller stolen away. Going back the other way. Pulley saw it roll out, and that'll give the ball back. Two-1 in favor of Baltimore Celtic. As Mueller doing his best to possess along the far side. Up the wing. Pulley trying to shield it off and doing so. Back in for Pratt. The sun climbing ever higher, just about over the top of everyone. As we close in on the 1 o'clock hour here in the Central Standard Time. Chopped over here to the near side for Arbeles. Puts a soul to it. Now he puts the instep, but that wasn't quite enough. The defender lobbed over here to the far side. Gets caught up on the hill, and that will play into the advantage of Ryan Burke. He sends it way up into the air. We'll do it all over again, a little bit closer to goal now for Mason. Touches near side for Burke. He continues it. And that one will roll out for a Baltimore throw. Unofficially, under 30 seconds left. It's at the referee's discretion. Now the fourth official saying they're going to be one more. As they get it deep into the box, the shot comes into the side netting though. It was just a handful of people over on the near sideline that thought that might have snuck in, but it hit off the side netting. Jones going to just try to blast this one as far away as possible. There can't be too much time left. Referee hasn't checked her watch yet, perhaps knowing how much time she wants to add on here. Baltimore Celtic in possession of a 2-2 game that would see them through atop the group. They already knew they were going to be playing in the knockout stages. And no matter what happens on the other game, Baltimore Celtic has won the group. And most likely Ohio Premier is eliminated. So a fine end to the season for Baltimore Celtic, but they've still got plenty more to play for. They will play the second place team in the other group. So be sure to keep abreast of the situation at tournaments.usyouthsoccer.org. And make sure to click on the right tab, and it'll lead you to all the scores and standings. That'll wrap it up for our coverage on this game, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Once again, the final 2-2 Ohio Premier and Baltimore Celtic draw. Ohio Premier most likely eliminated, given the scoreline from the other game at last check. But until the next time, I'm Todd Panula, and we will see you then. How's it going? Got a roster? Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get.